like every single person over here, I knew he was smart.
He also has a startup called Phodu Club.
Like if I talk to someone, I know that the other person has more knowledge than me, and I always wanted to be in a place where people are like better than me.
Most of the people will be doing something apart from their college curriculum.
Firstly, I never talk about Phodu Club as a startup. I talk about it like a community, or I talk about it like an initiative.
That's a great initiative, man. Like kudos to you. Coming from YouTube to your startup now, which is Phodu Club. Can you explain how Phodu Club? How did you start Phodu Club? What was the journey? And for the people who don't know, this is very relatable. Like both these topics are very related because the prep that you are giving in is coming through Phodu Club. Like the prep that you're giving for the students who are aiming to get into BITS or something like that. So can you explain about it? Like, can you explain how it started? Can you explain what is the initiative, and can you explain like how these people can probably use Phodu Club and try to get into better institutes?
Right. So, firstly, I never talk about Phodu Club as a startup. I talk about it like a community, or I talk about it like an initiative. I never, I personally, or like my co-founder Kushal, they've never called it a startup, at least right now. So, the reason, the soul of starting Phodu Club was that when I was in my 11th and 12th, I did not get proper guidance for my queries. By proper guidance, I mean I was a very curious but a very shy kid, and I used to ask a lot of questions. But at the same time, people a lot of times used to make fun of me because they did not understand कि ये क्या पूछ रहे हैं. My questions were little weird. Like for example, mm, I used to be like कि इतने घंटे कैसे पढ़ना है, मैं सही से पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ तो क्या करना चाहिए. I've recently shifted here in Panjim. I don't have any friends, so what can I do to spend my time? So my questions were a little not related to academics. And nobody really answered them. People were like, यहाँ पे तुम पढ़ने आते हो या ये सब करने आते हो. So then I stopped asking questions. But then at the same time, I did not from my family आज तक कोई गया नहीं है IIT या फिर BITS में. So I did not have anyone to look up to. And सब लोग engineering से हैं, but they have done their engineering from local colleges. So वो भी नहीं था. I asked my sirs, they were pretty helpful, but वही है कि वो तो सर की तरह बोलेंगे ना. I wanted a very transparent ऐसे मतलब someone could relate to me. So वो मुझे I couldn't get that up till the end of my 12th when my father introduced me to someone, one of his colleagues' son who was studying in BIT. So I spoke to him, and that was the first time I actually could ask अच्छे से because he's just 2 years elder to me. So I pretty much asked him whatever I felt, and he told me ऐसा करना है, वो सब करना है, वो सब करना है. And that 1 hour conversation was very helpful to me in general because as a JE aspirant, things get pretty unrelatable to you. I mean, you encounter things that a lot of people can't relate to. A lot of feelings within you, a lot of thoughts within you. It's very rigorous when you are studying for such an exam, such a competitive exam at a young age. So that's why we started Photo Club. Our intention is basically to connect college students to aspirants. These aspirants have a lot of questions, which have a lot of queries, a lot of situations, and these college seniors have just gone through that phase, so they relate with them, and they are. And college student ऐसा नहीं होता कि भाई मतलब ज़्यादा demand नहीं करते वो लोग. They want to contribute if they can. So okay, just connect both of them, and yeah, pretty much that's the simple way in which we uh, work at Photo Club. So the type of questions we get at Photo Club, they are not really related कि भाई ये चैप्टर कैसे करते हैं फिजिक्स में, ये चैप्टर कैसे करते हैं मैथ्स में. It's more about like भैया मैं कोचिंग में जा रही हूँ, कोचिंग नियरली खत्म होने वाला है सिलेबस अभी, एंड दे आर टेकिंग रिविजन क्लासेस, बट आई डोंट रियली एंजॉय द टीचर्स. आई रियली एंजॉय जो ऑनलाइन वो जो एक सर पढ़ाते हैं उनका. सो मैं कैसे उनको बोलूँ कि मुझे आपके पास नहीं आना है, मुझे ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई करनी है. Okay, we are there to help you. There are kids who say कि we have some type of family problems going on, and I'm not able to focus on my studies. My parents, they want me to get a good rank, but at the same time they are not controlling the environment at home. How do I deal with this? So we try to address such questions which are not really normalized right now.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what we do at Photo Club. So it was started with this intent, but we are Bitcoins, right? So we want to try out business. So what we did was we were like, okay, how can we monetize this thing? Because in one side, asking college students for their time, and on the other side, you are giving something to the students, right? So you need to learn to monetize this because college students have their own things to do. They are not free
Hmm.
all the time. If someone is asking for your time, they need to give something in return for it. Like your time has value.
Yeah.
So how do we capitalize on that? So because in India, ज़्यादा ये नहीं है about counseling, about mental health, mentorship, उतना
Yeah.
awareness नहीं है. So we decided to design a product that is a test series because BITS के test series है नहीं market में, एक दो ही है.
Hmm.
Decided to make a test series. So all my friends जो इधर ही रहते हैं by the way, उन सब के साथ मिलके we designed ऐसे एक अच्छी सी test series design करी हमने हमारे experience के हिसाब से. We launched that along with our community WhatsApp पे. So students liked it because we are Bitsians, we made something for Bitsat, so it's going to be relevant. And plus, you are getting guidance from them. And people, like, I guess I'll say one thing. As a student, who's studying for JE, I was very interested to talk to people who are in IITs and BITS. I was like, इनको इतना ग्लोरीफाई किया जाता है ये असल में होते कैसे हैं हाउ आर दे एक्चुअली स्मार्ट और आर दे जस्ट क्या वो मतलब सच में प्रोडक्टिव बातें करते हैं या फिर आर दे फनी हाउ आर दे सो आई एम रियली क्यूरियस टू नो एंड आई थिंक these people have all the solutions to my problems, right? Because they have gone through everything. They have done the deed. So I'm like, they're pretty much at that spot where I want to be. So they'll know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what we try to do here. Pretty much. So we started off in I think we started in April this year. We made the product, we made the community, and we launched it on our YouTube channels.
Hmm.
And I'll just say one thing that we had a lot of students who came over and bought the product.
Hmm.
And I'll say I have personally spoken to so many of them, so many of them. It's not like कि एक बार खरीद लिया तो हो गया. Kushal and I have spoken to so many students like in 3 digits individually. दोनों ने 100 से ज़्यादा लोगों से बात की है. And it's not easy. Like you have your exams going on, you have your college work going on. I'm a dual degree student. He's in
Hmm.
electronics. You know how hard electronics is. And apart from that, we have to handle our YouTube. Apart from that, we
Yeah.
have to handle our LinkedIn. And उसके अलावा जो WhatsApp ग्रुप्स होते हैं उनमें देखो कि शांति है because बच्चे हैं कभी कभी कुछ हो सकता है ग्रुप में थोड़ी अशांति हो सकती है and उसके अलावा talk to people on call
Hmm.
ताकि you can solve their problems because a lot of people are not comfortable to share their problems in the group.
Yeah.
इसके अलावा वीकली मीट्स करो जिसमें the best part about it is that you don't know each other, so you are like even if I say something weird, nobody is going to judge me. So everyone speaks the truth. They are like very transparent when it comes to that. So अभी तो हाँ we are thinking to relaunch it for next year, so उसके preparations चल रही है. It was
That's
successful
a
यार. It was pretty successful. मतलब दे 120 से ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स को मिला है बिट्स में तीनों कैंपसेस में.
that's so good.
Yeah, and we don't have the exact data because a lot of students left the groups after BitSat was done.
Yeah.
अभी भी बहुत सारे लोग मिलते हैं वो बोलते हैं कि आई वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ इट बट दे आर नॉट इन द ग्रुप बिकॉज वो उनको लिंक मिला ही नहीं था पर्सनली ऐड देम किक करके बट
Yeah.
हाँ यस
That's a great initiative, man. Like kudos to you for real. And it also becomes like a therapy session for them based on their academics. If they just go to a if they just go to a therapist now, even if you take a real life scenario, if they even go to a therapist, that person may not be from this background, so he will not be able to completely empathize with what they are going through. But because you guys have gone through the drill and you've gone through the process and you've come out of it and you have reached bits, it
Yeah.
becomes very easy for you guys to connect with them and understand their problems. And it's a very beautiful initiative, and
Okay.
kudos to you for that. Like,
Thank
salute,
you.
man, for
Thanks.
real. Because I know how
Yeah.
much, because I luckily had some guidance through Aryans. I was in Aryans and I had some guidance. Kuch to tha mere paas. And for the people who are going in blind, like they are going in solo, unke liye they need a community or they need someone to guide them, and
Yeah.
that is what you guys are doing, and that's amazing.
It's very difficult to be very honest because
Yeah.
a very very highly operational business
Yeah,
or
I wanted to talk about this only. I was about to ask you what are the initial challenges that you faced and how are you overcoming them?
okay. So I think the challenges are let's say I'll split the challenges. So challenges on the front end are the students are young, right? They're 17 years old, 17, 18 years old. So they are not really sure about how to frame their questions or what is what are manners, how exactly do you ask questions, how exactly do you behave amongst others. And plus they are in their own JE prep stage, so they have a lot of things going on in their head.
mm,
So that becomes a problem sometimes because you have to manage so many students and you have to make sure that
mm,
everyone is catered to. So that becomes थोड़ा problematic कभी कभी, but we have learned to handle it now. We have learned to handle it now.
mm,
बहुत सारे इसकी वजह से बहुत सारे जो ग्रुप रूल्स होते हैं, कम्युनिटी रूल्स, डोंट डीएम, डोंट सेंड, ऐसे कुछ चीजें जो एनएसएफडब्ल्यू होता है. सो कभी कभी वो नहीं हो पाता बिकॉज वही है, दे आर नॉट मेच्योर इनफ टू फॉलो रूल्स. तो
mm,
फ्रंट एंड में होता है. इसके अलावा लॉट ऑफ पीपल समटाइम्स perceive you in the wrong way. So
mm,
unless you join and experience it by yourself, you don't really know how it is. So a lot of people comment about us without really knowing what we do, and they are
mm,
like कि हाँ ठीक है, इन्होंने बिट सेट किया है तो ये लोग बिट सेट का ये कर रहे हैं,
mm,
start कर. They don't see the impact that we are trying to create.
mm,
Because I think if 100 students have gone to bits through this program, it pretty much means that we are trying to create something positive.
yeah,
Because they claim to, I personally do a lot of user review. We have a free community that we've launched now. Every single day I DM 3-4 people and ask them how's it going, what do you think will help you out. ऐसे पूछते हैं. बाकी backend में problems can be uh, things like you need to, because there are so many students, you require a sufficient amount of college students who can guide, so that ऐसे होता है कि कभी भी स्टूडेंट कोई क्वेश्चन पूछता है लेकिन इतने लोग हैं ही नहीं एक्टिव टू आंसर. सो यू हैव
mm,
टू मेक श्योर दैट उतने लोग हैं, टू मेक श्योर दैट द ग्रुप्स आर एक्टिव. बिकॉज कभी कभी डेड हो जाता है, तो आई सेंड अ फोटो ऑफ बीडो एंड आई एम लाइक, सो व्हाट्स अप, हाउस लाइफ, पढ़ रहे हो इसके लिए. थोड़ा सा मोटिवेशन अच्छा लगता है बिकॉज
yeah,
इट्स लाइक 2 years ऑफ मोनोटोनस प्रेप, थोड़ा
mm,
बोरिंग हो जाता है. सो कभी कभी थोड़ा ऐसे मसालेदार चीजें डाल दो तो अच्छा लगता है. उसके अलावा बैकएंड में समटाइम्स पेमेंट गेटवे का इशू आता है.
mm,
पेमेंट गेटवे
oh,
आरबीआई गाइडलाइंस बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट चल रही है फिनटेक को लेके, तो उसमें कभी भी इशू आता है. बट या दैट्स प्रीटी मच इट. बाकी ऑपरेशनल बहुत ही हाई ऑपरेशनल चीज है, यू हैव टू बी एक्टिव. उसके अलावा हाँ, बैकएंड में वन मोर थिंग आई फॉरगॉट टू मेंशन इज कंप्लायंसेस. सो वी ट्राई टू इनकॉर्पोरेट आवर थिंग, एंड
mm,
उसमें इट्स लाइक बहुत सारे लीगल कंप्लायंसेस हैं, बहुत सारे लॉज एंड रेगुलेशंस हैं अबाउट ऑपरेशंस. सो उसको थोड़ा समझने में डिफिकल्टी होती है बिकॉज I'm 20 years old, so I don't really know उतना how things work. So I'm still trying to learn कि कैसे चलती है. मैं कभी कॉर्पोरेट में काम भी नहीं किया, and the one internship that I did was under a BITS, and BITS are really
yeah,
chill when it comes to working environment.
yeah,
So यही है kind of the problems.
mm,
But it's fun, The best part is that like I went to
mm,
Pilani. So the best part was that I went to Pilani and I was in the washroom. I was washing my face, and एक बंदा आके मुझे पूछता है, "Are you Dhruv?" I was like, "Yes, I am. Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Pratham, and I was in Phodu Club." And I'm like, "Phodu Club? He's in bits. Cool. He's not in the group. That's a different case. But he was in Phodu Club, right?" So I was like, "Are you serious? Like, are you really?" हाँ मैं देखो, मैं इस group में था, group number 12 में था मैं. And I was like, shoot, nice. And that's the dopamine kick that keeps me going, pretty much. Then he's like, आप रुको इधर, मैं 1 मिनट में आता हूँ, मेरे और 2 दोस्त हैं, वो भी फोटो क्लब में थे, रुको.
that's so
Eventually got 2 of
adorable.
his friends. And I was like, are the 3 of you seriously from फोटो क्लब? And like, yeah, भैया देखो, ग्रुप में थे हम लोग. आपने कभी ग्रुप में ऐड नहीं किया बिटसेंस वाले में? I was like, हाँ हाँ भी करता हूँ.
Mm,
So then that's the dopamine hit, I guess. Pretty much.
yeah,
This is what keeps me going.
yeah, it's always nice when you're doing something for
Yeah.
someone else,
Mm. Yeah.
it's always like the whenever you do something for someone else, you are the one that feels happy, like even though they are
Yeah.
getting benefited, you are the one that feels that contentment, and that is something that keeps you going also, and that is
Yeah.
something that keeps me going also. Sometimes whenever I see someone telling me that your YouTube video, this affected me this
Yeah.
way, or this is something
Yeah.
that changed my life, like a little bit, even if it's a little bit, it matters to me.
Small things, such minor, small details
Yeah,
actually create a difference in a lot of ways, and it stays with you throughout.
yeah,
So today, even if something happens and
yeah,
things don't work out,
yeah,
I know that there are some people जिसके life में I was able to create an impact, at
yeah,
least through this, and that's what keeps me going. I'm like, okay, we did this, let's do something bigger next time.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So what are the lessons that you've learned by doing this? Like, what are the key takeaways that you've learned through Phodu Club and through serving people and through helping them out through their journey? What is something that has changed you as a person or has come into your life which was not there before?
So the one thing that and I mean there are a couple of things I don't know ऐसे jot points नहीं है but मैं बोलते जाऊंगा.
हाँ,
एक तो ये है कि students are very innocent. उनके मन में कुछ होता नहीं है. Okay. They are just confused and they are just not going the right direction sometimes and they just want someone who can help them to come back on track.
yeah,
So कभी कभी ऐसा हो सकता है कि you perceive them in the wrong way, तुम्हें वो rude लगे. But at the end of the day, they are just trying to convey their information to you so that you can somehow try and help them. उसके अलावा I thought कि startup life is glorified a lot. Founders, ये इतने salary लेता है, he travels in a private jet. ये सब it's very glorified. On ground, it's very very difficult to set something up from scratch. It's like you are trying to give birth to a baby, and not many know how to give birth to a baby in this format.
yeah,
So you have to figure out everything by yourself. कि कैसे हो? It's like I want to make a phone to actually making a phone. So that process is very very difficult. तो वही रियलाइज किया कि किसी चीज को एक्चुअल में कैसे लेके आते हैं. हाउ डू यू बिल्ड समथिंग फ्रॉम स्क्रैच. एंड उसके अलावा वन मोर लेसन would be one sentence that you tell someone can actually change their life
yeah,
in a lot of ways. Like nowadays when I talk to people, I make sure that every single sentence that I say is is not filtered but is like is has meaning, because you never know when your words can change someone.
mm,
So I have kids sometimes coming to me and telling me that भैया आपको याद है आपने वो बात बोली थी उस मीट में, वो
mm,
सही है, पता है मैंने ट्राई किया इसको और मुझे सही लगा. मैंने कब बोला था, आई डोंट इवन रिमेंबर. नहीं नहीं, आपने बोला था मीट नंबर आई थिंक 4 या 5 था, आपने बताया था एक्चुअली. I was like, okay, you remember it? Like, yes, this is one of the things that actually created a difference for me.
mm,
So, वो एक है. And lastly, doing anything in college is very difficult apart from academics. So,
mm,
I have to compromise on things
yeah,
that I can't really do. So a lot of times marks नहीं आते, CGPA कम आती है. Things don't work out. Sometimes YouTube video does not perform well, LinkedIn video doesn't perform well. But I have to push through and somehow get it done.
mm,
Last part is like, भाई बहुत lonely है startup life. If you are trying to
yeah,
do something for yourself, ना, it's very very few people relate to you, and you lose a lot of people in the journey.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't highlight about it, but a lot of people go away from you. I mean, it happens naturally. It's not like it happens because of a reason. Naturally, you are like you go in that like corner of the room and you are trying to अपने अपने zone में होते हो तुम. So
mm,
eventually जो लोग तुम्हारे पास थे वो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके दूर जाते हैं. So it's just you, the people you are working with, and your parents and your
yeah,
siblings, if any, or maybe if you have close friends and they are you still talking to.
yeah.
वो हो जाता है.
Yeah, I loved like two parts that you talked about. पहले तो the one line that you talked about, because it is not something that you are faking. It is just something that you are saying very consciously.
Yeah,
Like you know what you are saying and you know that you want to, create an impact in
yeah,
this person's life. And so you are not, whenever you are processing things and you say it and you take your time and you say it, it,
mm,
it is supposed to be something that stays with that person and it touches their heart. So it's
mm,
you don't want it to come out in a very
yeah,
rushy way or something like that. So I
yeah,
love that. And it's like most of these one lines only, because it's the beauty of it is because it is only one line, it stays with them. They have the chance to process it. तू उनको
yeah,
explain नहीं कर रहा है पूरा,
mm,
because if you explain, you are making them think in your perception. But
yeah,
when you say it to them, they can
mm,
think about that line and they can process it according to their own mind.
yeah,
That is number one. And number two, you talked about the lonely life, and that is very relatable because it's like the more things that you are doing, the more your schedule gets caught up. So
yeah,
now if my friends call me for a party or something like that, I will not be able to go on weekends because on weekdays I'll be working, I have a job to do, and on weekends I will be editing, or I will be editing with my video editor, or I will be doing a podcast like this. And
mm,
so it gets very boring for those other people, and they don't the people who want to only party, they will only make friends who are ready to party with them. But the
yeah,
people who are genuine, even if you are like distances apart and even if
mm,
you're like far away, they will
mm,
still find a way to check up on you. And that's why
yeah,
the
that is
people, yeah, that's why the founders or the people who have gone through this drill, they have the best values and they have the best friends also, because
yeah.
they will have very less friends, but those people have stuck with them.
and I was very bad at it, but I still made it because
What made you become a content creator? Like, even though you were doing so much.
like my dad has taught me in some way to not really worry about what others feel. Just do whatever you like. Whenever I'm lost in life and I don't know what to do, what videos to make, I just read that statement and I'm like, okay,